Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on KAJ, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Don Fisher. A Montana Department of Natural Resources and Conservation hearing over a proposed water bottling plant in the Flathead County continued today. The Montana Artesian Water Company is seeking a permit to pump groundwater from the DNRC. Now, the DNRC has preliminary approved a permit to allow the Montana Artesian Water Company to draw up to 700 acre-feet of water per year. That comes out to more than 625,000 gallons a day. Today was the third day of the hearing, and there was testimony for both sides, except for the owner of the company, Lou Weaver, who was expected to be sworn in and testify in the public hearing today. But Gerald James says he's a consultant for Weaver's bottling company, says that he had a medical emergency and could not be there. Therefore, the hearing will not come to a final close today. Chairman for Water for the Flathead's Future, a large group of the Flathead Valley residents objecting to the permit, says it was disappointing that Mr. Weaver did not testify in a public setting today.
We feel that we should have the opportunity to have Mr. Lou Weaver in a public setting as everyone else has been. And we feel just getting him in a lawyer's office with the two sets of attorneys isn't really fair, that he should have to be able to be questioned in a public setting.
And the DNRC's hearing examiner has up to 90 days to issue a decision, and Coit says if the ruling is not in their favor, they will appeal the case in district court. Now, James says they are prepared to immediately begin production at the plant if the permit is issued. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office has announced that all pre-evacuation notices have been lifted. In addition, Pipe Creek will be open to traffic on Saturday, September 23rd at 9 a.m., and fire crews will remain busy transporting and moving heavy equipment, so only resident traffic will be allowed. Several fires are still burning in and around Lincoln County. The Gibraltar Fire, located 7 miles east of Eureka, has burned about 13,000 acres. The Caribou Fire, located 21 miles northwest of Eureka, has burned about 25,000 acres with 50% containment. The Weasel Fire, located 17 miles northeast of Eureka, has burned about 4,000 acres. The West Fork Fire, located 7 miles northwest of Libby, has burned about 20,000 acres with 60% containment. And finally, the Moose Peak Fire, located 13 miles east of Trout Creek, has burned about 14,000 acres with 70% containment. Authorities are also lifting all pre-evacuation notices around the wildfires burning in Sanders County. Sanders County Sheriff Tom Rummel says thanks to cooler, wet weather conditions, all of the notices have been lifted. Meanwhile, the closure areas around the fire are also being reassessed. Sheriff Rummel adds that there will still be working crews around the fire areas and that caution should be used. And the recent weather has been helping to slow down fires that continues this week. We'll take it over to Chief Meteorologist Erin Yost for her first forecast. Erin?
Absolutely. We have seen quite the opposite end to summer as compared to the start of it and duration of it. Cooler, unsettled conditions continue out there today, and it's going to stay that way here as we end the work week. However, a little bit more activity is expected further to the south of us versus for us in northwest Montana tomorrow. Still, we do have to talk about treacherous driving conditions. Winter weather advisories out above about 5,000 feet this evening throughout Friday for the southwest quarter of the state, where we could see quite a few inches of snow. We will see a much improved weather pattern starting this weekend into early next week, just in time for the first day of fall tomorrow. More details coming up.
Thank you, Erin. Last week, Montana and specifically the Flathead Valley saw their first snowfall of the year in some high elevation areas. MTN's Jack Ginsburg went to Whitefish to see how local businesses are seeing more traffic when the temperatures begin to drop and the snow begins to fall.
When the summer weather starts to dissipate at the end of September, tourists and locals begin to ramp up for colder weather. That means local ski businesses start to see more and more folks coming through their doors.
We always see an increase in business when it gets colder and precip rolls in. However, this year is a little earlier than normal.
Snowfall reached Whitefish Mountain last Tuesday and can still be seen on the summit from town. Thomas says people are starting to go through the transition of realizing they need warmer clothing, which has led to more business.
We saw lots of soft goods in terms of jackets and whatnot, and going from, oh my gosh, it's super nice out and warm today, to, oh my gosh, I'm ill prepared for the autumn and the winter. So yes, there's plenty of folks coming through.
Those few inches of snow on the mountain not only prompted people to buy winter gear, but also get out and physically experience the seasonal transition.
I know some people were up there hiking, and I've seen a couple of people on the webcams today. So yeah, I do think people are excited about the snow and getting anxious to go. It's only a few inches, so it's not really a lot to ski yet, but certainly is fun, and it gets us in the mood.
Columbus added that the mountain sees an increase in people buying season passes when the cold weather rolls around.
A lot of people don't realize we've had passes on sale since April, but you don't think about your season pass until you get right down to the last minute. So September is the big push. We've had a lot of people showing up to buy their passes.
In just under 2.5 months, the entire mountain will be blanketed in a layer of snow, and skiers and snowboarders will be driving up this road to come get their first turns in for the winter. Reporting in Whitefish, Jack Ginsburg, MTN News.
And Whitefish Mountain Resort is scheduled to open on December 7th. Much of Puerto Rico is a disaster zone after Hurricane Maria raked across the island Wednesday as a powerful Category 4 storm. Today, rescuers fanned out across the U.S. territory that's home to 3.4 million people to try and save some lives. David Bernard reports from San Juan.
Residents of Puerto Rico waded through the mess Hurricane Maria left behind. Flooding is widespread and electricity is non-existent. 20 minutes from San Juan in Catano, police and volunteers are working to rescue people trapped by Maria's storm surge. They helped this man and his dog get out and get to dry land.
The mayor is sitting in the passenger seat of his Humvee talking to people and asking them what the situation is in their home.
Across the island, streets that don't look like rivers are covered in power lines. Maria's 155-mile-per-hour winds crushed what was already a weak power grid. Officials cannot say when it will be restored. Before slamming Puerto Rico, Maria roared across the mountainous island of Dominica. The death toll has climbed to more than 15, and the search for the missing continues. The Dominican Republic saw whipping winds and drenching rain when the storm passed the island today as a Category 3. Maria is moving toward Turks and Caicos. President Trump has approved a federal disaster declaration for Puerto Rico.
How do you feel when you saw the rescue come?
Happy. Very happy.
With so many communities cut off, the full extent of the damage is not yet known. David Begno, CBS News, San Juan, Puerto Rico.
And Puerto Rico's governor has imposed a curfew from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in order to ensure everyone's safety. President Trump has issued a new executive order ramping up economic pressure on North Korea to abandon its nuclear program. The decision came as the president held talks with two key U.S. allies in the middle of tensions on the Korean peninsula. Mola Lenghi has the latest from the White House.
On the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, President Trump issued a new executive order allowing the U.S. to impose sanctions on companies and individuals that finance trade with North Korea.
North Korea's nuclear weapons and missile development is a grave threat to peace and security in our world, and it is unacceptable that others financially support this criminal rogue regime.
The order aims to cut off sources of revenue that fund North Korea's nuclear ambitions.
No bank in any country should be used to facilitate Kim Jong-un's destructive behavior.
In another major blow, Mr. Trump revealed China, Pyongyang's largest trading partner, is now joining the effort.
Their central bank has told their other banks to immediately stop doing business with North Korea.
The announcement came during President Trump's meetings with the leaders of South Korea and Japan, both of whom fully support the move.
And I'm very confident that such moves will contribute to complete denuclearization of the DPRK.
In his first address to the UN, the president warned the U.S. could destroy North Korea if forced to defend itself or its allies.
Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself.
Today, he signaled dialogue is still possible.
Thank you.
Just last week, the UN Security Council unanimously approved new sanctions against North Korea aimed to cut the nation's oil imports. Mola Lenghi, CBS News, the White House.
And CBS News has learned that President Trump is leaning towards decertifying the Iran nuclear deal. The 2015 deal froze Iran's nuclear program in exchange for lifting sanctions. No decision has been made yet, but Iran says it won't return to the negotiating table. And coming up later in the show, Aaron Yost will have your forecast to close out the work week. And next we'll show you how the Sealy Lake economy was affected by weeks of record-breaking fire and smoke activity coming up on KAJ.